Hi, this is Jen Rubin, editor-in-chief of the Contrarian. Delighted to welcome back Ezra Levin, who is in the final stretch of planning April 5. He, of course, is the co-founder of Indivisible. Ezra, you don't look like you've gotten much sleep lately, and that's probably actually a good thing for the cause of democracy.
I'm not going to blame my 4-year-old and 2-year-old who are simultaneously going through a sleep regression. It really is this single largest day in protest in recent years that is
Yes.
it's taking up a bit of my time right now. Yeah.
Yes. So you launched this obviously with the date of the Wisconsin race that you already knew. But we've since then had this enormous lead up of lots of little events on a weekly basis. We then had Cory Booker and now the tariff fiasco. How has that affected the response? And what do you think that's going to do for your turnout?
Yeah, well, let me say a couple things. One, I want to be clear, this is not just Indivisible. Even at launch, Move On and Working Families Party and 5051 and tons of other folks identified the need for a single day of protest. We had been doing different actions. We had in February showed up at town halls, in March showed up at town halls. We've had these peaceful protests over at Tesla dealerships. There has been action on the front lines of this, but we had been hearing from pretty early on, hey, when are we all going to show up on one day? When are we going to go big? What's that date? And that's why we said, okay, we got to set a date. We knew the Wisconsin Supreme Court race was coming up. We were, optimistic cautiously about that, although we knew Elon was going to try to buy that race. But we thought, okay, coming out of that, that's a good date to set. We didn't know about the tariffs at the time. We didn't know Cory Booker was going to inspire the nation with the longest filibuster in American history. So when you do something like this, you make the best guess that you can. I think the timing now has just become absolutely perfect because one, people are inspired by Booker, people are inspired by the win against Musk in Wisconsin, and two, we have this global assault on the economy coming from the White House, and so more and more people are waking up to the fact that it's not a hypothetical attack on them or their communities. This is real life. Their prices are going up. Their jobs are endangered. Their businesses could close down. What do you do in a moment like that? Well, look at that. On Saturday, there's going to be the largest single day protest in many years, probably within walking, biking, or maybe short driving distance from where you live. So you can show up. That's what we can do. So
Right.
I'm very, I'm encouraged about the moment this is coming. I think we're striking while the iron is hot.
Just before we came on, you said one thing in particular was really warming your heart. What is it about the building of these protests that has really kind of struck you, maybe even taken you by surprise?
So look, we organize. We've been organizing for the better part of a decade now, and you organize with folks who come to the movement. And a lot of the people who showed up at the February congressional recess or put on empty town halls, these are people who organize day in, day out. They're volunteers, but they're not professional politicos. They're out on the ground, but they're committed to this. They're paying attention. After Trump won, they said, "What can I do?" And they're organizing. That is important. That builds a muscle that shows people that you can actually stand up to creeping authoritarianism. But for a mass day of protest like this, you want to reach beyond the choir. You want to reach beyond the core group of activists. So I think this is shaping up to be the first cultural moment of protest this year. I think that is a categorical shift. It's not just more people who are politically engaged being more politically engaged. It's people who aren't politically engaged. It's businesses, it's bands, it's people who don't watch normal political television or news sources saying, gosh, I got to do something. Oh, there's a hands-off protest. I guess I'll go to that. That is a huge opportunity. And it's good to show our strength, both to the MAGAs and to encourage Democratic leadership to fight back. But it's also an opportunity to build the movement going forward. We're not going to solve this crisis on April 5th. I want to be clear. That's not the goal. The goal is cultural penetration and pulling new people into the fight and bringing them into leadership, figuring out how to tap into their creativity, their entrepreneurialism, their skill set, so we can continue to push forward and limit the harm this administration is doing and build our own side up.
And one thing that happened talking to Ben Wickler after Wisconsin was that Elon Musk has now become, the guest who came to dinner won't go away. He's become the anvil around their neck. And it seems that they have this huge political problem. The Republicans are tied to a president who's wrecking the economy, tied to Elon Musk, who's absolutely toxic. Is part of the goal here to try to separate, to try to smash through that Republican solidarity, to get them to start thinking, oh my gosh, my constituents don't like this. My constituents are out of power. Maybe I need to sort of, separate myself from this calamity?
Oh, absolutely. Look, there is a reason why in February, when we were putting together our planning documents and our public toolkits for the February recess, we said this is the Musk or us congressional recess. That's why we the same framing going to March. I have never seen polling as bad as the richest man in the world is coming after your Social Security check. Everybody hates that. Democrats hate that. Independents hate that. Republicans hate that. People who aren't politically attuned hate that. So we have identified for quite some time that Musk is a weak link in this MAGA coalition. But I want to be clear. I think you're right. Look, he's going to leave the dinner at some point. He's going to get kicked out. He is an anchor around the neck. But the damage he has done doesn't leave with him. The culpability doesn't leave with him. Trump and congressional Republicans own this. They own this. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Nobody commanded them to give power to the richest man in the world to wreck our economy. They did. They gave him
Yes.
that power. So Musk will be gone, maybe in days, maybe in weeks. I don't know. And then Republicans in Congress and Trump will be still there and responsible for any economic catastrophe and anything else that comes up. And we're going to make sure of that.
Now, something tells me that even if he goes, he's not going to stop spending money on Republicans. So they're going to have a choice. They take the money like Brad Schimmel did. And it was a brilliant line that Susan Crawford used, which was Elon Schimmel, basically, giving the name to every one of the candidates on the Republican ballot. Where are you going to be on April 5th?
Oh gosh. Well, can I just say I'm hopeful that Elon just takes his show on the road. I hope he goes to every swing district and just makes his case. Go gets
Yeah.
out, spend his
Jumping, right? More jumping, more
more
hats,
campaign.
more chainsaws.
I would love to see that. But as to where I will be on April 5th, Lee and I are in the DC area, so we'll be closing out the DC march, or the DC protest. Jamie Raskin is going to be opening it up. Reverend Barber is going to do an opening prayer. So we've got a great event there, but we have about 1,200 events globally. This is not a DC focused day of action. The whole point of this is that the opposition to Project 2025, to Doge, to Musk, to Trump, to congressional Republicans is everywhere. It's in red states, blue states, purple states. It's in rural areas, suburban areas, urban areas. You know what? It's not just in the United States. We're in Guadalajara. We're in Ottawa. We're in Lisbon. We're in Lyon. We're in London. We're in Amsterdam. We're in Berlin. There are hands-off events all across the globe because nobody supports this guy unless you're getting a payback from him. That is what we're seeing. They have overreached drastically, and the backlash is coming now. And I can't wait to see it.
Well, for our contrarians, you will also note that our very own Norm Eisen, yes, will be appearing with other litigators because here at the Contrarian, as Ezra well knows, we have a theme, which is you win in the court of law and the court of public opinion. And they'll both be on that stage on the 5th because Norm and some important litigators will be appearing together with Jamie Raskin, Ezra, Leah, and others. Ezra, thank you so much. It is truly an exciting moment. Best of luck. And I just checked the weather report and there will be no rain in DC tomorrow. So foggy, so it won't get too hot, but no rain tomorrow. So
I heard it for other folks watching this from across the country. I heard a good quote about this. It never rains on a day of protest for justice, and when it does, it's a baptism.
thank you so much, Ezra. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.